Okay, we're recording now. Okay, so yes, this meeting is now in order. I'm the new president. Hello, and do we have approval to for the meetings of the minutes, the meetings of the December minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Anyone
I
second?
second.
Okay. All those approve?
Aye.
Okay. And our most recent board meeting was on January 6th. And just a quick recap of what we discussed then. One big thing we're talking about is our plans for expanding our presence on social media and on developing and improving the website for the club. I'll let Jason take point on what we discussed and what progress we've made so far.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about social media and the website and communication. I don't know if everybody's checked their email today, but I did send out an email to everybody with the new email system that I've got set up to make it a little easier for us to communicate. You can just email to members@qcastro.org, and then everybody will receive it that's on that list. So not just anybody can email that list. You have to be a member of the members list in order to use the members list. That way we don't get spam and other stuff in there. So, but we also talked about the social media with creating a Facebook fan page and moving to Zoom for the public meetings and things and broadcasts, using Twitter and Instagram and Google Voice for even having a phone number for people to call in and get information off of a greeting for people who don't want to use computers. So we had a lot of different things that we discussed there. I don't know how in depth you want me to go with it right now, but that was kind of the really 10,000 foot view of what our outline was with some of the new stuff we're doing online.
Question for the members email list. Do you need a password in order to use it, or is it just that if you're don't happen to be on the list, then the email address won't work for you? Or how does that?
That's exactly right. If you were to email that board or members@qcastro.org from an email address that's not registered, it would reject the message or ask you for a password. So I've got it set up where it's very simple. You just email it, and it just keeps it kind of private and protected that way.
Cool. So if you want to go out to one of the sites, you can just send it to members, and it'll go out to everybody. You don't have to build a distribution list of your own.
Right. You don't have to keep track of all that. We just have to keep it updated in one spot, and we're good to go.
Very good. And did everyone get the email that he sent out that we now have a Zoom account? And it is paid up for the entire year?
That is correct.
Okay. And the board members are going to try that out tomorrow night. We're going to have like a special meeting involving the grant proposals. So we're going to try out the Zoom there, and we'll try it again for the next board meeting. And if all goes according to plan, then from now on, all of our meetings are going to be using the Zoom account. So on that note, did you and the board, did you get the Zoom invite that I sent out?
Yes.
So it did work. Good. Yes. I'm new to setting up Zoom meetings, so I just want to make sure that it'll be all right.
That shows you how easy it is. You'd never used it before, and you got a meeting all set up, and everybody's ready to go.
All right. Terry, hello.
Hey, Dr. Mitchell, how you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Central.
Plague Central.
Since Friday.
Oh.
It is, but
Yeah, Rolando's got it.
Oh dear. A few of my cousins have had it too.
It
See.
seems almost. And I got head congestion.
Can you still smell or taste things?
Nope. I spilled. A glass of water. Okay, I could remember the code to get into the computer.
Audio's not too good either.
At least I don't have a sore throat like usual, and I don't have a cough. Got a hell of a headache. The Sudafed is about the only thing that works on it.
Oh, hope you get well soon.
You should see a doctor and get a Z-Pack. That'll probably clear it up for you.
It'll help a lot.
Okay. Let's see. At the last, at the last board meeting, we were also going to discuss the website. Didn't get nearly as much into that as with the social media expansion, I don't think.
Right. John and Paul and Matt Nielsen and myself were going to get together, and unfortunately, nobody's schedules seem to sync up with everything going on lately. So, and part of that's probably my fault. I've had a pretty hectic time here moving my business to a new building and everything. So, I think we will be ready for sure next time, and we'll be able to get some stuff done. So I have made a little bit of progress on things I can do without talking to others. So there are things happening, just unfortunately not as heavy and quick as we'd liked for this meeting. So
That's all right. Okay. And then some of us are going to get together, as I said, some of us are going to get to connect tomorrow night to talk more about fixing up the grant proposals. If I remember the Scott County Regional one, their next cycle opens up on March 1st, and I think their deadline is April 1st. And I haven't checked the regional development website yet to see if when their next cycle is, but we'll look at that. And that's pretty much what happened at the last board meeting. Well, just one other thing to make sure that if anyone has not yet done so, they need to send in their dues for 2021 as soon as possible.
I put mine in the mail, so whenever it gets to the post office.
Yeah, good question. I only just got my Aunt and Uncle's Christmas card late last week.
Yeah, I got the stimulus check and I ran it to the bank, and she only $70 instead of $600.
Somebody's not paying attention.
So
I think what'll happen if you get the other 1,400 they're hoping. Anyway. Okay, so that pretty much covers January board meeting. Any questions on that?
No.
Right. We had scheduled a public night for this past Saturday. The weather did not cooperate. So Jeff and Sam and I just ended up using that as a bed for some of Jeff's automated PowerPoint presentations with audio to see if they work for, double check if they work for virtual public meetings. Everything seemed to work well with that. All right. Upcoming events. Yeah, let me Can everyone see the 2021 calendar now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, this was sent out to everybody. And has this been posted on the website yet?
I don't think that's all been added yet. I don't know who's supposed to do that, but it hasn't.
Okay.
I did stick it on Facebook though, and I think I shared it with QC Astronomy as well.
You did.
Okay. So let's see.
Is that something you want me to work on, Robert?
Yes, we do need at least some kind of a calendar, events calendar on the website.
We have one. It's just empty for 2021 right now. So I'll work on that.
Okay.
So I know the county used to ask us for our calendar for the year, and I don't see that they asked at all. And I don't remember if it was Scott County or Clinton County or both. But if we make that known to people, we ought to probably write on there that it's virtual.
Maybe they're assuming maybe they're assuming that we're not going to, if they're not doing anything in person, that's why they didn't ask. But yes, we can let them know that virtually.
Do we have a contact or an email address, or how do we normally distribute that to them?
I don't remember. I thought that I thought that they emailed one of us or something, but I remember that we get some kind of a newsletter from them too that we could probably use and contact them. But before they would always put it on their website, so we could probably just contact them via their website and just send it to them without them asking.
Could be.
Hey, Alan, you don't mind me having us having the PAC meetings listed and some of the PAC events on there to go out onto the calendar, do you?
No, that's okay.
I think we should probably look at QCAS on the PAC website too. I should probably put up your meeting notices so the rest of the world can see it off our site also.
Could you please? That'd be great.
Be great. Make note though, what I did is any night that PAC had an event that did not conflict with a QCAS event, I put on, but there's some events that we have at the same time and I didn't put the PAC one on. So you'll probably want to kind of do the same type of thing with PAC. Make sure all your PAC events go on your calendar and then fill in, the QCAS ones. That way you guys have got full coverage for you, just like we've got full coverage for us.
Yes. So let's see. We got a couple of Gens Went public nights scheduled for February 13th and March 6th. Of course, who knows what the weather will be for them. So the next big one is the Messier Marathon on March 13th. So we don't usually make any really special plans for that. Just everybody goes out there and looks for Messier objects, right?
Yeah, if the weather's good, we've only had one of them the last 4 years because the weather's just been terrible. But the 1 year that we did have one, I think we just brought out some munchies and we had coffee. And I think we had some hot chocolate there too. So it's kind of a do your own thing, Messier Marathon. Some people, use their go-tos. Some people do star hopping to do it. Some actually work on the Astronomical League program. Others just kind of bop through to see how many they can get. So it's not a strict type of event. So it's kind of come and enjoy the evening and do what you like to do.
And in terms of refreshments, it's just potluck, basically.
I was like wrapped cookies, that kind of thing. It wasn't, cool munchies like food. Um, but again, if the weather's looking like it's good, we can make it whatever the club wants.
We'll see. As we get closer to it, we'll see. Let's see. It's a messy marathon. Astronomy Day public night on May 15th. Yeah. Here we run into the question of how much of the world is going to be vaccinated by then.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to work a little bit again with Bettendorf High School. I think that I already sent them a letter, an email when I was setting up the calendar last year, like in October and November, making sure that date was available. We did have that conflict of that dance contest or whatever one year. They forgot to put us on their calendar. They were still there to have the planetarium open, but they forgot about the dance event. So we can follow up with them on that too.
Double and triple check it this time. All right. And I don't know, is it too soon to start worrying about planning for the meteor shower party in August? There's a probably.
Yeah, we can just head Eon up with that again to make sure that, they still are interested in doing it pending pandemic situation. But there's no reason not to kind of get our schedule set with everybody so that if things are good, we can go.
Yes. And what about EISP? That one usually takes the most planning out of all of them.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of interest on Facebook from some new people wondering about it, and somebody just posted something wondering if anybody was having any star parties, and I mentioned ours, and they're from southern Wisconsin, and they said that they were really interested in coming down to it, and I told them to keep watch the Facebook page. But of course, when we get more information on the website, we can push everybody toward our website.
Jeff, where's the moon at around then?
I always pick a new moon that weekend.
Okay.
All right. So yes, all right. We'll follow up on those as needed, and let's see. Anyone have any questions on the 2021 calendar, 2021 events?
I might mention on EISP, I'm still thinking that we will keep a very light star party like we did for 2020. Probably not charge anything. Probably do lighter munchies and still do the chili at midnight, but maybe not do anything with prizes and guest speakers so that we can kind of keep people from going in the building. It is in September, but we just it's hard to really schedule people and try to get all these awards and prizes and stuff, and then turn around and not be able to do it. And it just makes it difficult for anybody. So we might just by ear a little bit. I do have somebody that said that they will Skype in and do a talk, but again, that can be difficult if we can't have people inside and try to set up projectors and stuff outside. So I'm thinking this year, and the board can talk about it a little bit more, but I'm thinking more like, having an outdoor event, make sure that we're spaced right and just not make a huge deal out of it.
Why don't we just hold on that and see how things go here a little bit? I'd like to hope that we're not completely in the same situation that we are now. I'd hate to see the star party be so watered down again if we can avoid that.
Jason and Jeff make good points. It's just too soon to tell what the situation pandemic-wise is going to be by then. So hopefully the new president makes good on his promise to ramp up vaccinations. Anybody going to watch the inauguration on Wednesday?
No.
I'm working.
Oh.
by the riot. So
A lot of people were. Okay, well. All right, next on the agenda. Anybody bought any new gear recently? For those of you who just joined us, some of us were talking about our binoculars just before the meeting started. Anybody?
I bought a solar filter, so sorry for the clouds.
I bought a new.
It's not your fault. It's Camino's fault. He's the one that has been buying like a madman. He's just sitting at home with too much money and too much time.
Oh, retirement's just paying too much for you.
That's right.
That's why it's been cloudy forever.
The only
Never.
thing on my radar is still the focal reducer for the 127 millimeter Explore Scientific. Boy, they want a lot for that thing, and then you still have to buy a $90 adapter just to use it, and then I have to figure out what 55 millimeters of back focus is. So once you're nickel and dimed, it looks like it's north of 600, but they do show up on cloudy nights from time to time.
I bought an ASI Air, the new one.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Nice.
How's that working for you? I've never even seen the interface on how that works, but
Well, supposedly it's simple. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. But supposedly it you hook the mount up to it, hook the cameras up to it, and it pretty kind of much does everything.
it can plate solve if you hook the mount up.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
and it does. Basically, you can tell if you're going to do dark frames, and it'll set that up. And there's lots of things you can do with it. I mean, you tell it, I want to go to M13 and take, a 5 second each, so we'll go to M13 and take pictures. And I don't have to be outside. I should supposed to be able to, it'll be inside the house and you control it from there.
Yeah.
But I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Yeah, I know. I tried to get out, I don't know, a week and a half ago, and it was such a mess. I've added about 9 more things to my list of things not to do.
Else, new gear.
I was impressing myself there for a second, and now I'm afraid I hosed myself. I can't see what I'm sharing anymore.
We see your solar filter, I think, Ellen.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh, cool. Al.
That's a homemade solar filter. This is made from layers of cardboard, and this fits snug over my telescope. The problem that I have is it's a 10-inch telescope, and the film is only big enough for an 8-inch telescope. So I had to cheat. So I made an 8-inch. Well, it's like a 10 by 9 or something like that. So it's not quite big enough to actually cover the full aperture of a 10-inch scope, but it works well enough to observe.
Looks like you're only losing a few percentage of the incoming light.
Yeah, I can't really say that I see any difference really looking at it, but I guess that's the newest thing I have. I haven't really used it too much. I haven't really had a chance.
I've bought some of that sheet material, and well, I didn't like it. It didn't work well at all. In the past, I had a solar filter, glass filter for my C90, and it actually started deteriorating after 20 years. And so I ended up buying another glass filter because the sheet material I had for it was awful. So I guess there's must be different qualities of sheet filter out there.
Yeah, this is pretty good stuff. I don't know. I don't remember now where I got it. I think I got it at like one of the Astronomical League conventions. It wasn't very expensive, and I've got glass filters too. I've got a 12-inch glass filter for the PACMO scope, and I think this is almost as good as that. And there's a lot less chance of breaking it. So anyway, yeah, there's all kinds of filters out there. I agree with you. I like Cecil. I like the glass ones too. But if you get a glass filter for a 10-inch or 12-inch scope, they're pretty pricey.
How do you safely test how well the material you're talking about works?
Yes, the guy
I
that's
don't
traveling
like-
with you to look first.
Yeah. Yeah, get somebody else to look in there first, or get your dog to look in it or something. But I don't know. I was careful and looked in it, cautiously, and it's real comfortable. I don't think there's any harmful rays going through it that I can sense physically.
So the glass ones can scratch and the plastic ones can get little holes. And what I do before I actually use it is I just do hold it up to the sky because it's very obvious if you've got a hole or a scratch that allows sunlight to come through. So I saw that happen once when I bought some gear that had a used filter in there that I held it up and you could see that the plastic had crinkled on one side and that it was letting some light through. So I generally just hold them up to the sky first.
Okay. All right. Well, you're breaking up, Terry.
It's the COVID.
Cecil, what ASI camera do you have?
I've actually got a couple of them. I got one for the main scope. It is, I gotta remember what it is. I think it's a 395 or I think it's a 395. And then I bought a smaller one for the guide scope.
They're kind of a little bit is like discontinued. I don't recognize that, but
Yeah, I can't remember. It's a newer. It's a newer. I got it right here. I can look it up. I don't remember offhand. It has one of the newer sensors. It's color, but it's not cool.
okay.
Well, I didn't actually buy it, but I got it for Christmas. It's a tripod for my binoculars. So, I've already tried out. It fits with the attachment the binoculars came with. It fits perfectly fine. So I'm able to use that. One question I do have is, Why the tripod came with this.
So you can hook some weight onto it to stabilize it, I
That's
think.
what I was wondering. Yeah.
Oh,
Just hang it down the middle and put a weight or bag or whatever on it.
I see. Figure out how to figure out how to attach it first. I think this.
If it doesn't just screw onto the bottom of the post, you might have to replace it. Just pull the post out and replace that.
I think it. No. Actually, no, it doesn't really do that.
Yeah, that's a hook, and it's quite literally. It's like hanging a bag off the hook, and the bag could be full of sand,
Rocks.
rocks, a container full of water, anything that's heavy.
Just for stabilizing whatever the tripod is holding.
Yes. And this that extra weight will keep it stable, but also keep it from tipping over if you go a little past center.
Yeah, typically if you used it with a camera and a long lens, you hang the camera bag off.
Correct. You could do that too.
Yeah, but it's like anything works. Just put a few pounds on it. And make sure you don't kick it to swing it. The camera is an ASI 385 MC.
Okay.
And then the other one is a 120 MMS.
Out yet, or how?
I don't know how many people guide. I saw one of the coolest things this week. There's a developer preview of PhD2, and it supports multi-star guiding. And when you enable it, it picks a lot of stars and does some averaging out. But one of the demos that I was watching somebody do, he compared it, to just doing a single star, and it cut his errors down to a ridiculous level. It was unbelievable. So it's not generally available in their latest edition, but you can just download the developer preview, and it supports that, and it's really cool. The one downside is that you really I never shoot darks with my guide camera, but because it does multi-star and you're not picking the stars, it'll pick a lot of hot pixels unless you just do 10 seconds of darks real quick. But I thought that was an absolute game changer, considering I have a budget mount and my guiding usually isn't as good as everybody else's. So, PSA, pretty cool. And I can send a link of that. So now that we've got that member email address to the video, it's one of the guys I like to follow. But it's all it is was checking a box in the config. It wasn't anything beyond that.
Okay. I see Alan's showing the Mylar filter material.
Yeah, this is the material that I use. Is from Seymour Solar.
That's cool.
And it's not very expensive. I don't remember. I think some of these were handed out like as door prizes. So
yeah, we had about 30 of those for door prizes at our DACRL conference.
And it works really well. You see the sun kind of in a yellowish, or orangish coloration. It's pretty good. It's pretty nice. It's similar to the glass filters I've seen.
I've been different solar filters using that stuff, and I've never had a problem with it.
I don't know if we have any more of this or not. I think I've got one packet here if somebody would want it. Like I say, it was these were door prizes, so I used the one I got, and I think there might have been a couple of extra ones left over.
I think I got a packet of that at the same conference.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and use it if you feel like it. And it's like I said, it's pretty easy to make your own filter housing, out of cardboard.
I made one for my 11-inch full aperture. Works pretty good. And I had a piece enough left over. I made one for my finder scope too, so use the finder scope at the same time.
We're always looking for ideas on things to talk about at the meetings. Maybe somebody should do a presentation on making your own filters or the different kinds of filters or how to use the filters so that we have it all in one place.
A piece of, I think last year to make a solar finder. I just used a old slide and I split it down the middle and took the film.
With the next total eclipse only 3 years away, that would be a great topic for one of our meetings.
Yeah.
Better get some of this stuff now.
Yeah.
Better get your hotel reservations now.
The last solar eclipse I happened to have, it was like an 18-inch by 2-foot sheet of the Badar film, and I actually taped it to the window over at work so people could kind of peek out the window at it that way.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was a lot safer than the glasses that slip off. So
Close window.
Yes. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else with new gear? Anybody looking to sell some gear? One thing I think we brought up the last board meeting, we were talking about trying to see if the club had any gear they would like to sell, at least in part to raise money for the observatory relocation. I think the 16-inch scope came up again.
yeah, the 16 in its mount.
Yep.
I think that little SCT that Paul has got right now.
Yeah, that'd be. I haven't gotten any use out of it in a while. I'm just kind of afraid of that focal length, but. Well, yeah, we can send out an email with kind of what the club's asking on some of that stuff, and
Yeah, I was just going to say that before we advertise it, we can see if any club members are interested in those pieces of gear.
And if anybody has any ideas for things the club can sell, discuss that at future meetings or send out emails.
when does I joined a little after, but there had been I don't know if it was an annual thing or if it was a one-off thing somebody came up with, but it was like a bring in your telescope and get it cleaned and collimated. And
We did that once before the pandemic started. Yeah, we get together at St. Ambrose.
yeah. So the other thing I was kind of thinking of was, I mean, obviously that's why we're here, but they keep talking about how the hobby is just taking off, where a lot of people are getting telescopes for Christmas and things like that, and probably have no idea how to use them. So you can kind of gear something towards a night like that. You know, bring in your telescope, make a donation.
Yes.
I know a couple clubs are having virtual public events talking about that, oh, well, you got a scope for Christmas and you don't know what to do with it, So we could have a virtual event for that. That'd be a great public
Yes.
virtual party, just demonstrating how you put together. Mainly they're getting refractors and newts on EQ mounts. There's a lot of those. showing them how. There's a lot of people showing pictures, and they've got the scopes on backwards, and the finder scopes are going the wrong directions. Typical things that we all do, of course, or they forget to take the cap off the inside of the eyepiece and they're not seeing anything. So that'd be good to show a telescope and how it's put together.
Last year, a lot of the popular scopes were impossible to find because there have been so many people at home. They're buying them for themselves now, of course. And so it's good for the telescope manufacturers, but you may wait 4 or 5 months for the thing to come in. Just a high demand for everything from last year. We'll see how this year works.
I also think that means here in 6 months or so, the market might be flooded with a bunch of fairly new used gear too.
That's true. You got a brand new scope, never used. Excellent point.
Get set up. Maybe our club could set up a side business, buying and selling used gear.
Yeah, I guess I did pick up one piece of gear. I couldn't resist. They had a 1980 80 millimeter f11 refractor, a Celestron C80, and it was a Celestron Vixen is why I decided to jump on it. It's actually a Vixen scope with a Vixen diagonal, so it was cheap. So I thought, oh heck, I have to get it. So I haven't been able to go out and look at it yet.
Yes, this idea for another public telescope training session. It's a good one if we can modify it well enough for the virtual world.
Does anybody have a small refractor that came on an EQ mount? Like one of the little 60, 70, 80 millimeters that are on those aluminum, the ones that a lot of the beginners get. My scope, the one I bought, did not come with a tripod or a mount. And if it did, then that would be a perfect one to display or show on one of these virtual events because it's very similar to what, a beginner would get. And the same way, if anybody has a small newt on a EQ mount, that's another one that, people get. And it's great to show those and show them how they get put on the stands and all that kind of stuff.
I bought an Orion telescope a while back. I only needed the optic tube. I have a brand new, the simplest equatorial mount that you can find from Orion, in a box in the shed that had never been used. If you want to try it.
Is it a manual one?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's perfect. Something because, like I said, most of them aren't buying anything go-to or. If they do, a lot of times they'll get the little SCTs that do that, but I don't see as many of those questions online as I do a little, 4 or 5 inch newt or a little, 3-inch refractor type of thing on a tripod. So that'd be great. We could show that on the camera and show it in pieces and how you extend the legs and which way you point it and all that kind of good stuff.
How about Dobsonians?
Yeah, I push Dobsonians really hard, but a lot of times people starting, they want something that looks like a telescope. So that means some kind of a tripod. A lot of folks lean away. But you've got a 6-inch Dob, don't you, Robert?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So that would be a perfect one to show for that. That's the right size because that's what most of them would get, a 6 or 8 inch. 6 were at a premium this past year. 8 inches were a little bit easier to get a hold of, but 6-inch Dobbs, I was watching one for, I don't know how long. That was kind of one of my goals to buy those 3 or 4 kinds of scopes that are beginner scopes so that we could use them for display and for virtual events to show how to put them together. Because, it'd be better if we could meet folks in person to do it and they bring their own. But with COVID, that's just not going to happen.
Right. Yes. We could discuss this at the next board meetings. Logistics of it, and
it's something that we could video ahead of time and then play the video and then talk about it.
at least for the introductory part, yes. Still need to go live if people have specific questions about them. Yeah, but yeah, some pre-recorded segments and mixed in. That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd save a lot of setup and mistakes and stuff online, or, you know, to be able to take a nice shot and make sure your audio is nice and clear in there. And then, you know, you can always pause it and talk about it if people had questions.
Sounds good. Make a note of that here. Okay. Well, one other thing we brought up. Actually, this was this past Saturday during the what was called the public night. It was Sam's idea to add a new segment to our meetings about what is in the sky later that month and the following month. So, preview of astronomical sites. So, what do you think? Would this be a good feature for our regular meetings, especially for newcomers to them? Yeah. So
Year, but next year, the first week of May of 2022, we have a conjunction in the eastern sky of Venus and Jupiter, and most of the
Venus and Jupiter.
Yeah, they're really close together in the morning sky, 1st of May, and most of the major planets are in the morning sky.
So let me when we talk about this, I figure out the ideal thing would be to put a presentation, you know, a monthly thing. However, since we talk about this Saturday, I didn't have much time to do anything, so I did some I did quick research today, see what could be presented, and there's plenty of it. So let me show you some of the stuff that I found, and we can talk a little bit about it. And I'll tell you the one that I found that I thought it was fantastic, that everybody could use, and they encouraged us to put it on our website if we want, so that people can access it. And see if I can get to. And let me know. So here is this is from Sky and Telescope, and the Sky and Telescope has a very good section that everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
So Sky and Telescope has a pretty good section monthly where they break it in week by week. Since I look at the ones for the January the 1st to the 13th, that of course we're already past that. I was gonna start talking about this one, which is for January 15th to the 23rd. This is so some of the stuff in here, and what they normally talk about is they break it down into, for people who like to look at the moon, they have moon features that are good to look at that time of the month. If you want, they break it by day. And in this particular one, I mean, they talk about space objects, or they talk about just planets, and they talk about it. They did a nice little thing, which was the celestial events, and this is from Orion. Orion does the same thing. This one is celestial events for 2021. I mean, if anybody wants to visit any of these sites, let me know, and I can probably put out an email with all the things. The other one that National Geographic actually put this one, which is really nice, at 10 spectacular stargazing events watch in 2021. And here's the one that you're talking about, the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, which is on February 11th. There's on March 9th and the 10th, there's a quadrupole formation, which is Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and the Moon. There's a lunar eclipse coming in May. It's too bad that a lot of this stuff has ads, and the ads are just kind of like messing up the stuff. There's a solar eclipse in June. However, I think it's only viewable, not for us. I think that you have to be further north, I think, in Canada, if you want to see it.
Canada, Greenland, Russia, and it's an annular eclipse.
Right.
Starting this year is a Jupiter, I believe, is almost at one of its equinoxes, so that I think in April and May, all the Galilean moons. So in other words, you get eclipses of the moons in front of Jupiter.
That would be cool to see.
I think that's about every
6
years in Jupiter's orbit.
Okay, so here in July, Venus-Mars conjunction. August, of course, they got the Perseid, the shower, which normally is scheduled, and everybody that goes to what is it?
Pleasant Valley Junior High.
Pleasant Valley Junior High have experienced this with us. We got a Mars, and there's lots of conjunctions this year. There's a Mars Mercury. August. Another meteor shower in Draco in October. These are just for the year, of course. If you want to go in more detail, and use particular, which is by weeks, right? And then, so if you want to see what's going on this week, you can go day by day. The one thing that I found that I thought it was fantastic is this indesky.org has this calendar of astronomical events. What is cool about it is for the entire year, you can select which events you want to see based on if they're visible by naked eye, binocular, small telescopes, large telescopes of any difficulty level. And not only that, once you select it, they got links associated with it. So if you wanted to see, for example, M47, you can click on it, and it actually take you to a document. This is very well put together, and it takes you to a document where it explains everything about that particular event. So if you want to plan what you want to observe for week, day, or the entire year, there's this. I don't know if anybody have seen this before. I have never seen it before. I was just researching today, and I saw it, and I thought it was fantastic. Has anybody else seen it?
If you look across the top, I looked at that last June, and I found that if you go under the top
here
down comments, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I haven't researched much of it, but
that's where I saw that comment first last June.
I was just more into the. What's that? I was just more looking at the calendar functionality of it, which is
A lot
if
of
you want to
information.
choose just a particular objects, yeah.
It's got a lot of
But it's
information
nice
at
if
that
you
side.
just want to know what's available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought not only that, it says here, right, that if you want to embed it in your calendar, in your website, and we probably can talk to Matt or Jason or somebody, we can probably do this so that it's available from our website just by clicking on a link. Or you can import it to your own calendar on your phone or on your iPad or whatever. In this particular case, because I'm on a Mac, actually talking about iCalendar, but I think it probably works for Windows as well.
Yeah, I saw it said Microsoft Outlook.
Yeah, we could easily put a link on there, or actually add that calendar too, since they have the download. Just put a link, and then you can go straight to it.
I was impressed. I just like the fact that you can choose objects by the kind of equipment that you have, right? If you only have a pair of binoculars and you just want to see what's on binoculars, you just that. And of course, anything that is not visible binoculars then disappears, and only the stuff that is visible on binoculars is shown in here. So it doesn't show the same. It shows some of the stuff, but not the same stuff. Some of the stuff that is visible, no matter what, it always shows. But it is pretty cool. If for nothing, this here is worth looking at it, because I know not everybody has the same equipment, right? So this really makes your choices much more manageable. Right. That's all that I have for now. I figured that if we're gonna do this a regular feature, then we can probably put a little bit more work into it and have a little bit more detailed presentation for the next meeting. And if somebody wants to do something and send me some notes on anything that they would like to include, that would be great. Any questions?
Any anybody?
Yeah, this will be a great segment to the club meetings.
Good. So, talk about that. Okay, so as far as I know, we don't have a scheduled presentation for this meeting, do we?
No.
So,
I think so.
one thing is we need to come up with ideas for presentations for upcoming meetings. So yeah, if anybody has an idea for a presentation, please email them to the board, email them out. And as far as I know, the calendar for the whole year is open so far. So if anybody has one or wants to do one later on, just throw presentation ideas out there, and we'll see what sticks. And let's see. No.
Also, if you have questions about something that you would like to know more about, maybe that will trigger somebody's idea for a presentation, right? If you have something that you would like to know more about, or that, and then we can put a presentation based on what you want to know about your research. Or if you feel that you want to do the research and share it with the rest of us, that'd be great too.
Or have you had a recent adventure you'd like to talk about?
Any run-ins with coyotes or mice or snakes, anything like that?
Lions and tigers and bears.
I think COVID has kept Paul pretty safe.
That's funny. I've got so much vacation time to use because I haven't done anything in forever. And I was looking at going down to Arizona's Sky Village and looking at their Reynolds and things. And I saw some of the pictures, which reminded me of the kind of stuff that lives there. So maybe something else.
The rattlesnakes and and coyotes. Yeah.
I ate rattlesnake once.
Oh.
At a restaurant in Arizona.
Tastes like chicken, right?
Funnily enough, it did.
So on the subject of presentations, I know a gentleman that's a solar observer. He has a hydrogen alpha filter. And he's made presentations at some star parties. I don't know, would you be interested in seeing if he would be willing to give a on presentation?
Okay.
Certainly.
I'll check with him. I've got a copy of his presentation that he made at the Oking Star Party. If anybody even wants to review what he typically has in his PowerPoint presentation, get an idea.
Was that the guy over at the Levy Star Party?
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
Jason, are you saying something?
Sorry, I was talking to my wife who walked in the room.
Well, as far as dates for presentations, if we don't have it, the meetings right now are pretty much open. If I gave him a few dates, it at least would be a place to start.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Okay. Let's work on that. All right. Next on the agenda, Treasurer's Report.
Oh.
Over to you, Sam.
Well, let's see.
Speak clearly so we can get this on record.
So, right now, as of closing on December of 2020, we had $4,059 on the general fund. Well, actually, I should not say that. Got to look at this is set up. I would have to do a little bit of math here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so as of December 2020, we had a general fund of $3,385.06. We had an event fund of $618.77. And the observatory relocation, we had a balance of 6347.78. Actually, I have 2 additional fees that just came in recently. So that's another $40. So we're actually, the general fund is at 3425.06. The event fund is at 617.77. Observatory relocation is at 6347.78.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Ah,
More?
that's how we ended. That's how we ended. Okay. So we are right now, and then Jason just purchased that subscription to Zoom. So the total after that purchase of what we have right now is 10,231.22 total. However, there's some included there that pertains to the workshop that we did. It needs to be subtracted, but I haven't done that yet.
How much would be subtracted for that?
$1,180.
That taken out of the general fund?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but everybody, but the people that paid for the workshop, that money was added to the general fund. So it's basically it balanced itself out.
So the general fund, as stated, is okay. All right. Okay. Approval of the treasurer's report.
Approved. Or motion to approve.
Motion we approve as presented.
Motion to approve is presented. We have Jason moves to approve. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Old business, observatory relocation. Okay, this is my first time creating an agenda for these meetings, so I tried to put on as much as I could remember from previous ones. I think observatory relocation is the only old business I could think of at the time, and as far as I know right now, that's been mainly focused on these grant proposals. So the board is going to be meeting, especially for that, tomorrow evening. If anybody would like to join the meeting and add their 2 cents to it, please email me or someone else on the board, and we'll send you a link to the meeting. So right now, our main focus is going to be on taking the proposals that we submitted back in September and fix them up for the next cycle of Scott County grants based on the feedback that they gave us for the for our September submissions. Does anyone have any questions on that? And I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback from somewheres. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about the grants for the observatory relocation?
Nope.
when we get this grant worked out, the documentation again, does anybody want copies of it to take to their employers or any place?
Can we take that as a no?
I'm retired, so no.
Well, we'll just send you a copy for posterity.
All right, that's fine.
It was suggested to me that I look for some online resources related to grant writing. So I'll try to do that tomorrow and bring that to the meeting, bring that to the board. See what I can come up with. All right. New business. Developing social media presence, presentations for upcoming society meetings, planning for EISP. We pretty much already covered that in previous parts of the meeting. Does anyone know of any new business they'd like to add to the agenda? Going once. Going twice. I'm getting previews of what my classes are like. Like.
Yes, it's an interesting time for that kind of stuff.
Interesting time for everything. Started treating myself to streaming services last year.
Yeah.
All right, well, there's nothing else. Let me see. Our next board meeting is February 3rd, and our next regular meeting is February 15th. And again, for these, we'll be trying out our Zoom account instead of WebEx, so watch out for Zoom invites coming up as we come up with those dates in the emails. And cross my fingers that I'm sending those out as it was the first time.
Hopefully the Zoom will work for well. The WebEx is actually working much better than the previous Zooms I've had in the last 3 weeks. So we'll see.
Right, well, is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up, talk about?
Friday looks clear.
Clear and cold.
Noon, but it looks clear. What's the temperature look like for Friday night?
Some are saying might get down to the single digits.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Very at least the low teens.
Friday night temperature minus 13 centigrade. I always have to convert that. I don't know, but that's cold.
High of 23, low of 7 that day for Friday night.
Jeez, that's cold.
That's bitter.
That's my mouth like that cold.
The farm report.
I think I'd do any viewing from my sunroom.
What's the wind going to be like?
Wind is 6 mile an hour. out of the north.
7.
Would that be enough to create sub-zero wind chills?
Oh, it's a sub-zero temperature, so. Oh, I see. Sub-zero.
Sub-zero wind chills.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
They
Oh, it says it feels like
neat.
negative 18. So whatever negative 18 Celsius is.
What's 18 times 1.8?
Old.
Be 18 times 1.8, and then subtract that from 32.
You're basically at 0 then.
You could ask Surrey. Hey, Surrey. Convert negative 18 Celsius to Fahrenheit.
on the farm report.
Is minus 0.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
0.4. So, yep, it's above 0.
Barely.
Just.
Well, minus 0.4. So I guess that is below.
So it is
0.
sub-zero, yes.
Yep.
They said on the farm report Saturday morning that towards the end of the month, 1st of February, we're supposed to have some of the colder weather. The polar vortex is supposed to come down over the Midwest, Northeast, and hit us. And if you think about it, the coldest time of the year is always about 6 weeks after the first day of winter. There's a lag time, and all the records have been set the last week of January and the first week of February. Not that it can't be cold on New Year's too, but there's a lag time. And same way with summer, you'd think it'd be the hottest when the sun's the closest on June 21st. But when does it get hot? About the end of July, 1st of August. That's that 6 week lag period that it takes to catch up. And the record low for 96 was February 3rd, 28 below. And then I think it was last year on the 30th or 31st of January, we had 33 below. So we could have some cold weather coming just around the corner again.
I remember they canceled school that day. They even canceled St. Ambrose that day.
Yeah. Wind chill and really cold.
30. I was up at 5:30 that morning. It was 32 below and drove to Peoria. It was incredibly cold, but very clear. You could see everything. You really didn't need telescopes. You could see quite a lot. Very cold.
When I was in college, my roommate and I won $100 from Augie to stay at the hotel. And one night we went out to Scott County Park and set up his telescope and hooked up his motor drive to his car battery. And the ranger came over and said, "What are you guys doing here?" And we told him. He said, "Well, you know, it's 23 degrees below zero right now. I think that's the coldest that I've been out observing. When I taught in South Dakota, we had minus 80 wind chills when we had a blizzard. And I remember trying to start my car because I had to go to Pierre for a teacher's conference and couldn't get the car started. So, minus 80, at minus 80, car tires freeze concrete.
We had a week was never got above 20 below zero in Wisconsin. And it was like, it got as cold as minus 47 in some of the nearby towns that week.
Killing me.
Yeah, the jet stream is going to drop straight south, and we're going to be in the middle of it.
I got cut out here.
For what it's worth, I just looked it up, and even that isn't cold enough to create dry ice.
Well, look at it this way, Paul. Snakes won't come out. Coyotes won't come out. So you'll be safe.
It's true. It's too cold for coyotes.
No rattlesnakes. No mice.
No mice.
All right, Sam. Let's hit up the 20 on Friday night. I'll meet you there.
We do that. I'll meet you there.
We don't have any polar bears here, do we?
No.
We might on Friday.
Okay.
I have to work, and I've got some more I've got to do for the night, so I'm heading out for the evening. And it's nice to see everyone and chat.
Yeah.
Let's end the meeting.
Later.
Good night.
Thank you, Dino.
Good night.
Thanks for not rubbing it in, Jim, for being in Florida.
You're welcome.
Well,
Jim has got those ocean snakes out there, though.
You know,
sharks.
there you go.
And you know, in January, we usually observe in shorts.
We can do that here too.
Jim, when you went to Arizona Sky Village, where did you stay?
I rented a house right in the Arizona Sky Village. The lady's name was Kitman, and I think she still rents. There are 2 or 3 places that rent there.
There's tons now. When I looked at, I forget what the name of the town is. It starts with a P.
Portal.
Yeah, Portal. You can even rent a covered wagon and sleep in a covered wagon. Looks really nice, like right at Coachella. So, I mean, and it's cheap. And there's a place with a swimming pool, and it was $100 a night.
Dinners, beans, and biscuits.
But you're 50 miles away from food. I mean, it's like nothing to do.
Oh, you got to go rattlesnake hunting and get your own.
Yeah, not bad. There you go.
I would encourage you to try it. Go.
So
it's a lot of fun.
Where do you get your water? Where do you get your water? Do you squeeze cactuses?
Yeah. Yeah.
Only the female ones.
Oh, Rusty.
And on that note, does anyone else have anything for the meeting?
That's the best. I second any motions. See you later.
Make a motion to adjourn before this gets any racier.
Sorry about that. I just couldn't pass that one up.
That was perfect.
This is going to be on YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, isn't really saying much, but there you go.
Publicity is good publicity.
All right.
That we adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
Second. Aye.
All those in favor, log off. Yeah.
Good night, guys.
All right.
Good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
Great job, Robert. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, good meeting, Robert. Came off really well.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks.
So, I'll need to look at the calendar for our next public event, but should we try to put together that Telescopes 101 thing and show people how to put together a refractor and a Dob and those, or do you want to just keep it a little bit more simpler than that?
Well, let's see. Our semester starts next week, so I'd have to see how much free time I have. But if I have some, I could try to record something with my Dob and just
Okay.
something quick and simple.
And we can talk about it at the next board meeting too and see what people want to do for it. But it'd be nice to kind of prepare something in case the weather is bad, assuming it is, and then just go for it again.
Yeah, we can discuss it more at the board meeting.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
All right. See you then.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.